My name is Edward Richtofen, and I have been trying so very hard to do the right thing.
What's up guys, my name is Brandon, you guys can call me Swifterrs, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys 5 things that you didn't know about Dr. Edward Richtofen. Now as you guys know, the other day, Jason Blundell revealed to the Zombies community the full and complete timeline of the entire Call of Duty Zombie storyline. There is a ton of very rich information in here, and this is the final piece to the puzzle that strings together all of the information and all of the questions that we had in regard to the zombie storyline. So as I said, there is a ton of awesome information in here. In regard to today's video, I'm going to be using this timeline to bring you guys 5 things that you didn't know about Dr. Edward Richtofen. If you guys going to enjoy today's video, please be sure to drop a like down below. Also, let me know in the comment section below what zombie character you guys would like me to do in the next video, whether that be Takio, Nikolai, Dempsey, Samantha, maybe even Maxis. Let me know in the comment section below. But with all of that being said, let's get started with today's video, taking a look at 5 things you didn't know about Dr. Edward Richtofen. Alright guys, so the first thing that you didn't know about Edward Richtofen, which I found to be very surprising and definitely a twist to our zombie storyline, was that on August 30th, 1925, Edward Richtofen joined the Illuminati. So, for those of you who don't know, the Illuminati is essentially a group of people considered global elites. They're a society that is either in control of the world or seeking to take control of the world, and I found this very interesting that Richtofen had decided to join the Illuminati. It was definitely a curveball in our storyline, and I didn't see it coming at all. But we continue onward with Edward Richtofen, and on August 11th, 1936, Maxis invites Richtofen to join Group 935. He agrees, secretly acting on the behalf of the Illuminati's interests. So from the looks of this, it appears that Maxis had no idea that Richtofen was in the Illuminati when he was asked to join Group 935. Obviously, Richtofen wanted to serve the interests of the Illuminati and join Group 935, I'm assuming to obtain knowledge of Element 115 and other things related. So it's very interesting because in 1936 he joins the Illuminati, and only 4 years later Richtofen renounces his involvement with the Illuminati on January 24th, 1940, and when asked how he could abandon his obligation to the order of the Illuminati, Richtofen says Teddy was a liar. This is very iconic because spread out across so many zombie maps, we can clearly see the quotes, "Teddy is a liar." So the next thing that you didn't know about Edward Richtofen, which I've personally always wondered, is why and how Richtofen became so insane, so obsessed with obtaining power, which eventually led to his Origins self getting teleported to the Giant, where he ended up shooting his elder self in the head. So on January 4th, 1940, Richtofen and Dr. Schuster conducted their first human teleportation test. Richtofen was so confident in its success that he volunteers the MPD, the Ether Pyramid hidden by the Apothecons, to be teleported, and while inspecting the device, Richtofen is electrocuted and begins hearing the many voices of corruption, including that of the Shadow Man. The device then teleports him to Shangri-la. Corrupted by the dark ether, Richtofen is gradually being driven to insanity by an obsession to find Agartha. So that, of course, is how and why Richtofen became so obsessed with the ether, so obsessed with Element 115, and attempting to take control of the entire undead horde. I definitely wanted to share that with you guys because I didn't think a lot of people knew that. So another thing that you may not have known about Dr. Richtofen, which I found to be very important to our zombie storyline and a potential explanatory factor later down the road in regard to why Samantha despises Richtofen so much, was that on September 2nd, 1945, Richtofen reveals in a journal that he's been performing experiments on Samantha Maxis without Dr. Ludwig Maxis knowing this. So I found that to be pretty interesting, and I personally didn't know that for quite some time until not too long ago. I think that that's one of many factors contributing to why Samantha has such a hatred for Dr. Richtofen. So very, very interesting, and I definitely thought you guys should know that. Now, another thing that you may not have known about Dr. Richtofen is actually in regard to Mob of the Dead. Now, as I mentioned before, Richtofen was part of the Illuminati, but a couple of years later, he renounced his commitment to the Illuminati on January 24th, 1940. A couple of months later, on April 16th, 1940, Richtofen arrives in Dimension 63. So what I'm gathering is that in one dimension, Richtofen had completely abandoned his obligation to the Illuminati, but we transfer to a different dimension, Dimension 63. Now in Dimension 63, Richtofen contacts members of the Illuminati, and I assume at the time, April 16th, 1940, even though 3 months prior he had left the Illuminati in one dimension, in Dimension 63, he is still a member of the Illuminati, but he asks their help to build a laboratory facility beneath the Alcatraz prison. 2 days later, on April 18th, 1940, Richtofen meets with Stanley Ferguson and convinces him to assist with the Illuminati's construction of the Alcatraz laboratory. The Mob of the Dead characters, Sal, Billy, Finn, and Albert Arlington, are then placed in cryogenic tubes in the laboratory beneath Alcatraz Island. So it's very interesting to see that the Mob of the Dead characters have actually been frozen in these cryogenic tubes beneath the prison as a result of Edward Richtofen asking the Illuminati and Stanley Ferguson, the prison guard who was first transformed into a zombie, to save them. Now, one final thing that I wanted to point out that you guys may or may not have known about Dr. Richtofen was something that I was completely shocked to find out. I was under the impression that someone else spearheaded this operation, but it was actually Dr. Richtofen himself. First, I'll play an audio quote, and I'll talk to you guys about it after.
The staffs of the ancients were lost, but Father made copies. You can find them. You can get me out. You can open the gateway to Agartha.
So obviously that quote was from Origins. Samantha was instructing our characters to get the ultimate staffs and free her from Agartha, and that her father made copies because the original staffs were lost. But on May 21st, 1917, Maxis drew up schematics for the creation of 4 ultimate staffs, replicas of the original ones, but he instructs Richtofen to construct the staffs. So although Maxis essentially created the blueprints for the staff, it was actually Edward Richtofen who physically constructed the 4 replicas of the ultimate staffs, which I found to be very, very shocking, because all this time I was under the impression that Maxis created replicas of these ultimate staffs, but it was actually Maxis who drew up the schematics for them while Richtofen actually built them. So guys, that was 5 things that you didn't know about Dr. Edward Richtofen, taking a look at some Call of Duty Zombies storyline secrets. So if you guys happen to learn anything new in today's video, please be sure to drop a like down below. Every like on today's video shows me that you guys really enjoyed this video idea, and if you guys want me to make more videos like this in the future, very similar to this one, let me know in the comment section below. I'd be more than happy to make videos talking about things you may not have known about Nikolai, Dempsey, Takio, Samantha Maxis, Dr. Maxis, maybe even Sophia, and members of the transit crew. If you guys want me to do any of those ones in the next video, let me know in the comment section below. Overall, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, be sure to drop a like down below, subscribe if you're new, and I'll be sure to catch you guys in the next one.
I have lied. I deceived. All for a purpose you could never understand. I would not change a single thing. He thinks I do not know, but I do.